I love learning about United States presidents. I also like learning about the United States presidents that no one ever really talks about. So seeing that a miniseries about the obscure president James Garfield was coming to Netflix, I was pretty excited. The miniseries Death by Lightning follows James Garfield as he reluctantly runs for president and then his ensuing presidency. It also follows James Garfield's killer, Charles Guiteau, as he tries to make a name for himself by any means possible. The first thing that struck me about it is that it feels like it's in the 1880s, from the props and settings to the costumes and performances. It sounds like a weird thing to say, but the series has such a distinct look to it that I feel like I had to mention it. Michael Shannon does an excellent job at portraying James Garfield. Matthew McFadden also does a great job at portraying Charles Guiteau. When I watched the show, I didn't know much about Guiteau, so when I watched the first episode, the character seemed kind of sympathetic. But as you keep watching, you see how he manipulates and steals from people. He has an almost parasocial relationship with James Garfield. After Garfield becomes president, Guiteau forges a recommendation letter from him in hopes of getting a job in his administration. You just end up realizing that this guy is crazy. Then he ends up killing Garfield. After doing a bit of research, I did find that some modern-day psychologists found that he was a psychopath, by using some modern-day tests. Nick Offerman was great as Chester Arthur. He reminded me of Ron Swanson, not just because it was Nick Offerman, but because he talked and laughed the exact same way as Ron Swanson. There were also a lot of funny moments in the show with him, like when Guiteau is asking Arthur about if there's anything he can do to help him, and Arthur just responds by asking for more sausages. As of writing this, I haven't read the entirety of Candace Miller's Destiny of the Republic, which this was based on, so I don't know how close this is to the book, but from what I've seen from other people talking about it, it seems to be pretty accurate. One negative I have about the show is that I wish they spent more time on Garfield's presidency. The first two episodes were about Garfield's nomination and presidential campaign. The fourth one was about his assassination and death, and the third one was about his presidency. This is probably because his presidency was only about 200 days, but I feel like there was some more stuff that they could have added in about his presidency. My favorite part was easily the ending with Garfield's widow telling Charles Guiteau in prison that no one would ever remember him after he dies, and that he will never be anything more than a killer. And then right after that, Charles at the gallows realizes that she's right and that he will be largely forgotten by the world. One more thing, and this is not really about the show itself, but when you search up the show on Google, you'll get this little box on the side with ratings, and it shows IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, and other scores from review sites. They also have the percentage of people who liked it through Google via a like and dislike button. And even though Death by Lightning has gotten pretty good reviews on other sites, only 54% of users like the show on Google, which I just find really funny. Anyway, it's a great show with strong performances, a great portrayal of events, and a great look at James Garfield and Charles Guiteau's lives. I would give it a 9 out of 10, but since no one dies from lightning, it's a 0 out of 10. I hope that this can open the door for more shows or movies about the more obscure presidents. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.